Children, today we're going to read the interesting story of singing lesson written by Catherine Mansfield. This is a story which shows how a person can react with a change in situations. Miss Meadows was a music teacher in a girls' school. She entered the corridor and made her way towards the music hall for the first singing lesson of the day. She was in a dejected mood that day because she had recently received a letter from her fiance Basil, who had called off their wedding. She had to hide her feelings and pretend to be normal before the students, although she was very much hurt at receiving Basil's letter. While walking through the corridor, she was stopped by the science mistress, her colleague in the hallway. Miss Meadows hated her as she was very cheerful, beautiful, and charming in her personality. Having exchanged strange pleasantries, Miss Meadows proceeded to her first singing lesson of the day. Having exchanged her feelings, her gratitude, and her wishes to the science teacher, although she didn't like her, yet she exchanged strange pleasantries with her, and then she reached the class where her children were waiting for the music lesson. Where forms 4, 5, and 6 were waiting. Miss Meadows held a baton in her hand to give directions to the students. Mary Beasley was a favorite pupil. She accompanied her on the piano. She was a very quiet child. She was so lost that she did not accept the yellow chrysanthemum that Mary had given her. As the students sang the song, the thoughts of the letter sent by Basil hovered into her mind. Each and every word written by him hurt her from the depth of her heart. He had written in the letter that he was not a marrying man. Though he loved her, the thought of marriage filled him with regret. She was heartbroken when she clearly saw that Basil had written the word disgust and changed it with a straight line on it and wrote regret. Miss Meadows thought that when the news of her engagement was known to her friends, what would happen to her? Basil was only 25, while she was 30 years of age. Miss Meadows was shattered by the thought that she would never get married again to Basil. In the meanwhile, a student entered the singing class and told Miss Meadows that Mrs. White, the principal, is calling. She at once left the class and reached the headmistress's office. Miss White gave her a telegram and asked her if the message was bad news or good news. The moment Miss Meadows held the telegram, she thought that Basil might have committed a suicide. She was worried and sad to receive the telegram. But when she opened the telegram and read the lines written, her joy knew no bounds. Where Basil had clearly stated, "Pay no attention to letter," must have been mad. What had stand today? When Miss Meadows was glad to see the words written on it. She returned to her singing class in a totally transformed mood. As soon as she got back to the class, she asked the girls to sing a different song that was melodious. She instructed the girls to use their imagination while singing and not look at each other. This was how Miss Meadows changed her mind, and as soon as she was happy, her song was also filled with happiness, and her happiness knew no bounds with the telegram of Basil. This is all about the story. Have a nice day.